Hi everyone, welcome to Love, Peace, and Unity. I was inspired to start a podcast or YouTube channel. I don't really know where this is going to go, to be honest. But I've been inspired to do it because of videos from a guy called Alex, who has a really good podcast called Next Level Soul. And I've been inspired by that because it's really been helping me through some of my really, I wouldn't say I had near-death experience because he usually interviews people with near-death experiences. Though I have not had that, I've had what you would call probably like an out-of-body experience or inner-body experience, but I like to call it sometimes for my experiences. And just thought I'd really kind of come on here and share my story now that it's been a lot more accepted in today's society and a lot more people are having their own experiences and it's no longer taboo like it used to be. I think I really started a spiritual journey back when I was like 17, 18 years old, and just kind of pushed it away because it was so frowned upon, especially in religion in the church I grew up in. It was just, God doesn't talk to you that way. And if he does, okay, there's some type of, it's the devil or you're schizophrenic or something, So I've learned to just kind of push it away. And I would say I did come to terms with like this form of love, and it's always kind of pushed me through life and up to this point. And I used to always say there's love outside of me, and I'm learning now is really a part of me and a part of us all. Like we are all one in this love, this infinite love, this powerful love. But I always said out of me because I didn't know how to explain it. It wasn't any terms I could explain love from a perspective that we have, on like relationships or whatever. It's just like, it was so much bigger than that. And I didn't know how to explain it. I've had voices in my head when I was 17, 18, of God, expressing himself to me. And I know I have different terms I use other than God, but that's how it was presented to me at the time because it's what I believed in. And it was something I was comfortable and familiar with. But like I said, I quickly just kind of learned to shove it away because I didn't want to look like I was crazy. And I always had it in the back of my mind and helped me through rough times when I was younger. And it got me out of tough situations before. But I learned quickly after that, after I lost some really close friends of mine to death at the age of 22. And it really shook me to my core and made me really kind of, instead of helping me get closer to God, I guess it kind of pushed me away. I was mad, you get to a point where you're just like, what's the point of all of this, And I lived a good 5 years just like kind of living recklessly and really just hating on myself and just mostly from guilt and shame. And it was all from, coming out with my sexuality and trying to understand myself. As the more I stepped into who I was and what I discovered of myself, the more I hated myself because I was taught that that was so wrong and that you're a terrible person or you're going to hell and this, which I didn't believe in. However, it just made me feel like, I just wasn't good enough. And I learned to just push that voice away and just live in this atheist world and then this being all there is. And if this is all there is, then I have to take control of every area in my life. And I did. I controlled everything, even up to my own death, because I was like, that's not fair. Why live this up to fate to determine my death? Like, why can't I just decide that? That's not fair. And I almost did once when I was 23, and this was after my friends had passed, and I got to a really dark place. I used to do business, and I used to be in the business realm of things, and I had a lot of friends who did business, and I had moments where, some of those friends, I don't mean anything ugly of them, but they made me feel really, bad about it. And that's also my choice. I chose to see it that way because they would say like things, saying you're just not hard enough. You're not, you're not finessing people enough to make it in the world. Like if you're not, you got to remember, you got to feed your family at the end of the day. So you got to make sure to finagle this sale on somebody or whatever, and so it's like I lived with that and kind of stepped away from it because I didn't want to live that life anymore. It just felt like I was robbing from other people just so I can get what I wanted. And I said, if I have to be like that in this world, because that was my only examples, by the way, of people who did business, was that's just kind of how they were. And so I didn't really have, let's say, another example or a better example. So I thought that was all there was. And I said, if that's how I have to be in this world, I don't want to be in it. I want to be out of it, because I love people. I know this source of love. Like, I just want to spread that, but everything that goes on me spreading that doesn't get me enough money. And you got to remember, I got to pay my bills at the end of the day, like this isn't covered that. And I quickly just kind of shut all that away and went into, I have to be in control of everything. And it led me to a really dark place. And now that I see in hindsight, it was all for a reason. And I understand now, like, I had to go through that period of not hearing that voice or anything. And mostly because I pushed it away. But however, it was also told to me that there's going to be a time in your life you're not going to hear from me. Like, I remember hearing God's voice saying that. And I was like, no, that's not true. At the time I was so strong in that. But sure enough, I did. And now I see why. And I'll kind of shut that out. And then I woken up to my spirituality or a spiritual journey again recently, after another tragedy in my life of a friend who was, I knew was suicidal. I knew he was struggling really, really hard and really having a rough time. And me and my selfish self trying to hold on to all these people and everything in my life and trying to control every area and aspect of my life, I kind of took this person under my wing and just felt like, because I survived my suicide attempt, I thought maybe I could just kind of help this person along. And we ended up getting really, really close. Like, we were so close. We were like buddies, and we just, bonded over a lot of stuff. Not suicide, but like, that was one thing. And I saw so much growth in him and myself, and we were like both, getting better. And, saying to each other that, we would never do that. It's one of the stupidest things you could do. Like, I don't want to leave behind, this from anyone that I love, and this is and that, like, I couldn't do that to my loved ones. And so I just never thought he would do this. And one day, it came to the point where he did, and it got it to the point where I had to find him. And it was PTSD. It was the worst day of my life. And like, all I can say is that by the grace of God or love, I am healing and coming to the place I am now. And if I can help anyone else through their grief and their hard moments in life, all the power to it. Because like, I thought I wasn't going to survive. After he passed, I said, there's no way I can do this. Like, he was a big perspective in my life, and just to be stripped away, and him doing it himself was just like a big, huge punch to the throat, gut, and everything. Like, I just felt like you just stripped away everything that we were growing towards, and it sent me into so many different loops. Like, why am I here? Like, what the heck is all this? There's got to be something. Please help me. And I remember praying one night, after he passed, because some people said some ways to heal through it. Of course I got counseling, and, had a grieving counselor and grieved through a lot of it. And then I ended up taking like a whole 2 months off work and just really doing some inner work on myself. And oh my gosh, did I get that? Like, it's crazy. But before that though, I got to a place where I just didn't, some people said to help heal through that, you can, pray out loud as if that person's still in the room. So I had this moment where I was praying to him or talking to him as if he was in the room, it just expressing everything I felt, like, how hurt I was, how awful this was, this is and this. And then it, some people were saying they were seeing signs, because at this point, I think I was already looking up like, near-death experiences, or no, I was looking up mediums, because I was like, oh, how do I talk to the other side if it's real? It's like, I just need to know if the other side is real. Like, how do I know that? Because some people say how they get signs and they get this and this, and I just, I didn't believe any of that. Just this is all there is, right? Like, that there is nothing after this. And but I was crying out to something, right? Because I'm hurt, and I can't heal through this alone. Like, I need help. And I know I have friends, but I just need the other side. If there is one, please show me, let me know there's another side. Like, this can't be all there is, And I kept searching and searching and didn't really get anything. So I was like, there's nothing here. There's nothing. But I remember praying this one night for help, and definitely was hoping that I would get a sign that night, and I didn't. I had my keys and this key that he gave me, because he said to always present this key to one another, because we had each other's key. And he said, present this key for any tough conversations that we may have, so we don't get, and promise that we won't get upset with one another, you know? So I had this key with me, and I was praying. I was like, please show me, help me through this, like, you know, and give me a sign, like have someone reach out to help me or whatever. And of course that night I didn't get any information. So I had this key and I just threw it and went to bed. Woke up that morning with a friend, an old friend of mine, who we bonded over atheism and scientists and science stuff, because his friend went into school for science. And he and I have been friends for like 6+ years, and I hadn't heard from him in like since COVID. And he starts talking about like this his spiritual journey, like he's opened up to more spiritual stuff, you know. And he started with, you know, a text that next morning, like, hey, I've had these weird crazy dreams, and I just really had this feeling I had to reach out to you. I don't know why, but it was so strong. And I was like, oh really? I kind of thought it was kind of dumb, but like I'm intrigued too at the same time. And we catch up, and he's, you know, starts talking about what he's doing now and everything. He's like, yeah, I'm a licensed becoming a licensed trauma coach and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I need right now. Like, and so I started thinking, I'm like, oh, maybe he saw what I posted on social media, because I posted on social media my friend's passing. And I thought maybe he saw that. And so I was like, oh, so I guess you saw what I posted on social media. He goes, oh no, I'm sorry, I don't use social media anymore. What happened? And I was like, oh really? So before I tell him, I'm like, that's odd, you know. Now I'm curious, what was this dream you had? So he goes on to tell me his dream, and it was like to the T, exactly what I was going through, like from the pain, because he was talking about yoga stuff, like your chakras and different areas of your body that may be hurting or in pain. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're exactly right. Like he pinpointed exactly. And then he said, also feel like, you know, you're contemplating life, or someone else has, or you have, and you just are really in a rough place right now. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, it's exactly what just happened, you know. So I was like, I'm sure you didn't look on social media, you know. Like there's no way you can know these things. And it was just like the pain, you know, that was never posted on social media. That was bizarre, how you just like pinpointed everything to a T. So I get in touch with him again. He's out in West Texas with a ranch that he hosts an Airbnb at. And I end up taking 2 months off work, and I go and see him to get this trauma work done, which he talked to me about. And he said it was a holographic memory resolution, HMR work, similar to EMDR, how therapists do for their patients to get them in a meditative state and help them through their traumas. This was like that on steroids, like actual help. And it was reframing the things that happened to me, like this trauma that I was going through, and not like reliving it and just reframing it. It was like, no, like relive it, like change it all together. And I got this work done, and at first I couldn't really get any information. Like it was really hard for me to visualize stuff, because I felt like I was visually constipated. Like I couldn't visualize anything in my head, because it was like, you know, so much garbage in there. But with this work that my friend does, which I really can't wait to interview him on here, because he is, I really want to get his name out here, because it's so great what he does. Like after I had this experience and help from him, I just wanted to tell the whole world, like, oh my gosh, like, you don't even know how great this is for you, you know. But I had to, you know, tone it down and know that these things work in time and everything. So I don't even know where to start when it comes to that, because like I said, I had so much shut out. But I had some help from him and some other things in between that. If you want to know more information about that, definitely feel free to reach out to me. I just don't want to post it on here, because I don't want it to make a big uproar and everything. So in general, I was able to start visualizing stuff again. Flash forward, just the next day did the same thing, and I started getting visions and being able to like go back to some traumatic things in my life and then be able to, visualize it and put myself in a safe space mentally so I can actually work through these things in a positive way. And I ended up doing that. But I didn't realize doing that was going to open up the rest of my life to spiritual things. And not all of it was pretty. Like, there was some really scary moments and scary things, but I do remember from my past that, you're always, for my parents, even though like we were in religion in church and stuff like that, they still had this idea of like energies and always protecting yourself. My mom used to always say, protect yourself from the negative, of Satan and all these positive, these negative things, you got to protect yourself. And she used to have these prayers that she'd say. And so I knew how to do that somewhat. But I had moments where I was seeing visions of very creepy things and things that I thought, led me through loops and had to like crawl back into my body. Like, I started having these out of body experiences and just realizing that there's more than just this. Like, this is all I was believing for the longest time. And being, waking up to knowing that that's not true is like, bam, it's like a slap in the face. Like, what? I thought this was all there was, and now there's not. And then it's like you're seeing all these different things that you really can't fully explain. Sent me for a loop, and it got me searching for things. I started looking up stuff on YouTube, these mediums and how they're talking to people on the other side. Well, then I ended up getting like, after that, I got this healing work done because I was able to work through things on a inner level of myself and reframing these traumas, because I used to think I was the sum total of all the things that's happened to me, all the bad things that happened to me, because this has made me who I am. Like, if I forget it altogether or reframe it, then I'm not gonna, I'm gonna have to like relive it and do it again and again. No, it's like reframing it is stopping that cycle altogether, so you don't have to keep learning it over and over again. And I had it totally backwards, and it was really fascinating to now get to a place where I am now off of the things negative that happened to me and be able to face it with love and positive things. In every aspect and area of my life, I lean more into this spirituality now, and not be scared of it, because I go at it with love and protection and just say, help me discern what these things mean. What am I seeing? And not go on my own understanding, because I think that's how cults get started. Because they get like this insight, or they get these visions or whatever, and they think, oh, this is what it is, matter of fact. And I learned for myself, and I've been through a lot of cults and different things growing up. I've learned to question a lot. So I question these things, and I encourage everyone else who has their own experience to kind of lean into that, but go at it with love and that source of love that we're all a part of, and tap into that and go at it with peace and love, and you'll be amazed what happens. So that's a little bit about me and my journey so far. I have so many other things I can share. I had to make this video about 2 hours long. I'm not going to do that. So that's just my little introduction so far. Feel free to reach out. Stay tuned for more videos. I want to share some more of my stories, and I want to definitely interview other people. And I would love to hear your story and your journey so far, and your spirituality. Whether it be like an out-of-body experience, inner-body experience, near-death experience, science-based stuff that kind of go hand in hand with things that are spiritual. I am so fascinated with now, and opened up to it more than I ever have, I think, ever in my life, because it helped me, cope through some of the hardest times in my life. So I hope this finds you at a great time. I'm trying to learn to like post this video because I felt led to do it, and just let it flow versus me trying to make it happen, because I'm still trying to step out of that realm of like, if you want me to do this, how do I let you do it? And then what is it that I'm supposed to do, and how do I do it? So I'm learning that still, and just really excited to kind of see where this goes. So stay tuned, subscribe, reach out to me if you have any stories that you would like to share. I would love to maybe interview you. I'm definitely going to interview my friend Lance and have him talk a little bit about the HMR work, holographic memory resolution. And if you want to reach out and get help from him from certain things, feel free to do so. And I want to be able to put that on my platform to kind of do some work with him, because I find it very fascinating and excited that we're in this new realm of like life now together in our soul journey, maybe. So that's it for now. I just want to leave you with that. I hope you all have a great and wonderful week. Thank you so much, and take care. Take care of yourself, and give yourself grace, and find and lean into that love. And that's why this is called Love, Peace, and Unity, because it's love that grounds us all, and peace. Find peace within yourself and through all challenges in your life, and unite. Be united with this love and all of us as a whole. That being said, love, peace, and unity.